Hello, everyone. This is Obi-Ron with a special announcement. Thanksgiving is around the corner, so in the spirit of that, we want to help. Profit First Professional supports accountants and bookkeepers regularly, and we want to share what we know with you about business and the industry. We are offering a free consultative call to help accountants and bookkeepers out there address and overcome their biggest obstacle. No, this is not a sales call. This is all about you. So, starting November 1st, we were offering this consultative call to the first 50 accountants and bookkeepers that reach out to us. You can do so today by emailing Eleni at profitfirstprofessionals.com with the subject Thanksgiving Consultative Call. Again, email Eleni, E-L-E-N-I, at profitfirstprofessionals.com with the subject Thanksgiving Consultative Call. Slots are opening now through December 23rd. Get yours today and enjoy the show. Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice. And you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now, on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
episode 120. Woo! Wow, 120. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike McCallowitz, the author of Profit First and a brand new book coming out called Clockwork. And you, my friends, you're listening to GMAP. This is a show where we teach you step-by-step how to grow your accounting and your bookkeeping practice, or I should say or your bookkeeping practice. And we give you an action task at the end of the show we call the GMAP Now task that will drive your business forward. We're the only show on the interweb that does it. Plus, we got an insider's peek at what we're doing here, something that we think we can apply to your business. And of course, we have nothing short of an extraordinary guest today. We're going to talk about marketing, the evolution of marketing and accounting specifically.
I'm excited about this one. And of course, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and of course, growmyaccountingpractice.com.
Boom-alicious. You know, one other thing you can do is we are giving away free webinars right now. I mean, literally, you can sign up and get them for free. Something we used to charge our members for, and the argument was, as Ron says, lift the tide, lifts all boats. We want to give the best stuff that we have in regards to marketing.
Insider access,
in
insider.
regards to pricing, in regards to all these different things for free. So to get it, here's what you got to do. Send us a text with the acronym GMAP, that's G-M-A-P, Grow My Accounting Practice, to 678-506-7543. Again, that's 678-506-7543. One more time, it's 678-506-7543. Send GMAP to that number, and we will hook
Wow,
you
my
up.
phone's blowing up already, Mike. And of course, I'd like to take a minute to thank our corporate sponsors that make all of this wackiness happen. And that, of course, is Funbox, Nextiva, and Receipt Bank.
Thank you, Ron. We'll give you more details on those fine folks in just a little bit. Hey, and if you also service accountants and bookkeepers, you got a business, we're willing to talk with you. One of our spots used to be filled by another company. They did their series. They committed to a short term. So we got one spot open now for a sponsor as of today. So if you're interested in potentially sponsoring GMAP, you can reach out to us at 855-802-2994. Ask for Christina, and we'll hook you up. Okay, let's get on to the business at hand, Ron. Let me fade out the music here. Okay, there we go. Oh, that faded out pretty well. Her name is Lauren Clemmer, and she has been working with the Association for Accounting Marketing, also called AIM, for a couple of years now. But prior, she was a member for 8 years. The mission of AIM is to promote excellence and elevate the professional stature of marketing, business development, and other practice growth professionals at all career levels, directly impacting member professionals' development and careers through education, networking, and so forth. They will help drive your accounting practice marketing to the highest level. And I'll tell you, this is the person we want to speak to. Why? Lauren Clemmer was named as the Accounting Today's 100 most influential people in both 2016 and 2017.
Boom.
Boom, boom, boom. She's one of CPA Practice Advisor's most powerful women for 2016.
Boom.
And she's got an adventurous bug in her. She went skydiving back in a few years for her 50th birthday.
Wow.
Which is a pretty cool way to celebrate. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate being here. Thanks for having me.
You know, it's a good sign when an association brings onto its board and to its employees, someone that's been a member for many years, clearly you must have been a pretty exceptional member.
Well, well, I don't know if I was an exceptional member. I tried to be an exceptional member. That sounds really egotistical, but no, I was a member, and I was an involved member. I was participated on a committee, and then I actually on membership. So I knew a lot about the association, and I was excited to be a part of it.
And in your prior life, you were heading the marketing for an accounting firm, right?
I was. I was previously head of a regional accounting firm here in the Cleveland area. And so I have a lot of experience, on the ground experience. I can really speak to our members and say I've walked and I know what it's like. So I think that helps too.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely helps. So let's talk about what you used to do in that marketing capacity. I want to get a sense for also as marketing has evolved. So what if we go back combined now, it's 10 years, 2 years with AIM, 8 years with your prior employer. As we rewind over time, what did you do in marketing in the beginning, and what's it like now comparatively?
So in the beginning, accounting firms don't accounting or marketing has been new to accounting, is relatively new in the accounting world. So in the late 70s, it was actually finally acceptable to market your firm. And so it's taken a while for firms to embrace marketing. But at my firm, I was hired to do not just marketing, but I also did staff development. So I would work with my individual staff members and put together individual marketing plans for them and help them with their career growth and counsel them on things they should be doing that would help them in their careers in the firm.
And what was the form of marketing back 10 years ago? What would you do to get the word out?
Well, we did a number of different things. We advertised in print publications, which today is much less. I mean, the survey that we did recently with Hinge indicates that the higher growth firms are actually spending their money more on the digital side of things than in the
Okay.
traditional advertising space. So we did print advertising. We would sponsor you know, various things. We would attend. A lot of my push was getting the accountants to attend various events to get known in the community, for them to get involved in boards and get involved in their community, to be able to speak at events, and get the firm visibility that way. And we also put on seminars. We actually did, not as opposed to a webinar, we actually did events in the regional area.
So I appreciate that. You said accounting really only accepted marketing as a acceptable practice in the 70s, and it's still taking a long time for people to adapt that. Now, the traditional kind of marketing you're talking about, sponsorships, attending events, speaking, seminars, print advertising, are people still using that regularly? And is that waning, or is that still a effective method of marketing?
Yeah, it's actually interesting because one of the things that Lee Fredrickson talked about when he was presenting the findings from our budget survey was the fact that a lot of money is still being spent in that sponsorship area, which is a little confounding to a lot of us because I'm not sure the bang for the buck is really there per se. I think there are other ways to drive people to your firm that are better, but a lot of folks that own accounting firms still believe strongly in it, and I think feel tied to their clients and the need to support them in the various things that they're doing. So you're still seeing a lot of money going towards sponsorships.
And what constitutes a sponsorship? Can you just explain more how that works?
Well, so for example, my firm would often, a client would come to them and say, hey, we're putting on this golf outing to support this charity. And so the firm would put money behind that to help to support client and their particular
I
cause.
gotcha.
So,
I gotcha.
Yeah, like a golf banner,
right. Or
or
maybe they
a
had,
sponsor a
I see.
hole,
or perhaps they were doing, an employee event that they would ask us to, lend money to and be a sponsor of. They could also do
Yeah.
that.
That sounds more like a charity, quite frankly, than a sponsorship.
Well, but that's a lot of, at least where our sponsorship dollars went was towards, maybe it was a company event, or it could be, a charitable outing of some sort to raise money for something. Um, a more traditional sponsorship, and I think these also, these would also happen, would be, um, we got invited, for example, one of the local magazines invited us to become a sponsor of one of their events that was focused on the nonprofit market, because my firm in particular had a very strong nonprofit practice. So that's another type of sponsorship that firms would get involved in.
Gotcha. Now, you said that firms are evolving and the opportunity is in the digital space. At least that's what I heard. Is that
That's
true
correct.
from your? Okay.
That's correct.
So I want to now lay it on me. I want to know the opportunity.
Well, the opportunity, there is so much there digitally that, just by doing this podcast with you is one way to be able to reach your potential prospects, as you know.
I think I just heard you offer a sponsorship for our show. I'm kidding. But right, this is one way. Keep going.
I didn't say that, but
No, I know you did. I know you did.
There,
Our
Checks in the
studio
mail.
engineer Brian will mix your words, so it did say that you said that.
yeah, pretty well. But there are a number of different ways, technology-wise, to reach out. So, you have podcasts, you have webinars.
Yeah.
You can, advertise digitally. LinkedIn offers the ability to target specific markets and go after, and messages to people. So you're not advertising in where, the newspaper and print and billboards and things were a very typical way to advertise. Even, 10 years ago, it's really moved dramatically to, firms are investing more, your website as a means of advertising and making sure your search engine optimization is there so people can find you. Because that next generation that's coming up, those millennials that we've been talking about for the last 10 years, are, actually all grown up, and they're taking over businesses. And they're not just sticking with an accounting firm, they're searching for an accounting firm that can do, maybe they're a winemaker and they want somebody who specializes in that. And that's what they're targeting. So you really have to be prepared as a firm for people to find you and to get your message out, because they're looking.
Now, you rattled off a lot of things. I put podcasts, webinars, your own website, SEO. How do I measure or determine if something's working versus not working?
Well, there are various analytics that you can take a look at to know whether it's working or not. For example, even the association, we're looking at, how many opens do we get on an email that we send out? Are we really reaching people? Should we be doing, that somebody recently said to us, we should be doing A/B testing of our title of our emails to see if people are actually responding, by looking at that. Your website is there are all kinds of, Google gives you all kinds of analytics to look at to see whether your website is actually working or not. Are people just coming, and are they staying, or are they bouncing and going, somewhere else? Do you actually hold their attention? So, there are a lot of different ways to take a look at what you're doing and find out if it's working or not.
And we have a whole range of entrepreneurs listening to the show. They could be small size accounting firms, large bookkeeping firms, or vice versa. And maybe they're still in the old method, attending events, speaking engagements. Maybe they're still working even, but clearly there's this movement toward digital. And if you're not there yet, some people need to get started immediately. Then that poses a question: where do I get started? What's your
Well, I think
suggestions on that?
I think a natural place to get started, and I spent a lot of time educating my accountants, was making sure you have a really robust LinkedIn profile, making sure that you're talking about what you bring to the table on that profile, because a lot of business can be done through LinkedIn. People, anytime I'm going to meet with somebody, I typically looked at somebody's LinkedIn profile so I can find out more about them and have a more intelligent conversation with them. So LinkedIn's a very simple place to um, help advertise yourself, especially if you're a small, maybe you're a one or two person firm.
And you mentioned that the wine manufacturers, the wineries, are looking for niche specialization. Is that something that you're seeing more and more of what people are looking for?
Wineries or niches?
Niches.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
Yes.
are we talking about wine? Are we talking about drinking wine, or are we talking
Yeah,
about
be honest. Everyone's looking
specialization?
for that.
No, so that's something else that we're seeing is firms that are, um, as we call them, high growth firms. And again, this came out of a study we recently did. Um, Firms that laser focus and really target their market, as opposed to trying to be all things to all people, are more successful by 30% more successful than
Wow.
firms that aren't. Um, because now they've narrowed their market and they can speak specifically to that market, and people are coming, looking for them. I recently did an article. I did an article last year where I talked to a couple of small firms and that were growing and talked to them about why they were growing. And one of them had a very narrow focus just in international tax. That's
Hmm.
where their focus was, and they were growing dramatically because they actually experienced, I think, 20% growth because of that, because they just, that's where they focused. Those were the kinds of people that was, you can specialize your staff because now you're looking for a specific person and you want them to have specific skills that address this particular niche that you're looking at. Um, the other one had more of a construction focus, but and they went to market a little differently. With them, it was more of a cultural focus where um, they spent a lot of money, a lot of time on developing the business and having people that would help develop and allowing the accountants to physically do the work as opposed to having them go find the business. So,
What I'm hearing is there's a difference though in the niche. You were saying earlier a niche. You could niche on wineries, for example, vineyards, and then I'm also hearing maybe a product focus. You could just do international tax accounting. Are are those two different ways of niching? One is an industry, and one is a service specialization, or am I misunderstanding that?
no, definitely not. You're not misunderstanding that. In fact, I'll give you a third idea. So, um,
Lay
I
it
also
on me.
I also talked to, I don't know if you know Jody Padar. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
The radical CPA. Well, her whole strategy is um, rather than having somebody to come to you and tell them what they want to buy, she
Yep.
tells people to package and sell them what they need. So that's a different, that's a slightly different twist on the whole niching thing. So now you package your services and say, here, Mr. Client, this is what I know you need. This is what you should be buying, and here's what it costs.
Yeah.
And she's been
Yeah.
very successful doing that.
Yes. No question about it. Let's talk about. You said the next generation's coming in into play now, right? The millennials are moving into the market. They're taking over businesses, um, and you also mentioned LinkedIn. What's going in my head is that what the millennials are going to respond to? Meaning, LinkedIn is a hot thing now, but maybe the millennials it'll be something different. I don't know what it'll be.
Hmm.
How do you anticipate how to market next, or do you even have to worry about that?
Well, I I think you do because I mean, part of what I heard at Engage this year, which is the AICPA conference that we recently were at, Barry Melanson talked a lot about how technology is going to be impacting the overall accounting business. The accountants are going to be doing less um, of the technical piece of it, and they're going to be doing more. They're going to be more consultative. Um,
Hmm.
so, um, I'm not sure I'm answering your question though.
Well, I'm just wondering how to anticipate marketing, because I heard millennials moving into the accounting space, but that also means they're moving into other spaces. If I rely on LinkedIn today, maybe that works today. I'm just worrying about or thinking about tomorrow.
Well, I think you
How do I
need
anticipate the next marketing?
I think you need to be, and I think this is what's hard for a lot of accountants is they need to be flexible and adaptable
Mm,
and understand, keep in touch with what's coming, listen to things like this podcast and understand, what are people talking about and where are things going. We do, for example, a what are the top 10 accounting trends that we see, for the coming year. We do that at the end of in December every year. We have a webinar where we talk about, what do we see um, that's coming. And, technology, I mean, as we all know, I mean, I can just speak to my, raising children and how technology changed with what I was dealing with from that standpoint. From, my youngest daughter or my oldest daughter was using IM, and by the time the youngest one was in high school, I was dealing with texting. So, I think
mm.
you have to be listening, you have to be paying attention, and you have to be, talking to people like us and understanding what's coming and how to deal with it.
Have you had any experience or success with Facebook?
Me personally, we did not use, well, we did put up a company page with Facebook. And because from our standpoint as an accounting firm at that time, and I think this is how things are changing as well, speaks to how things are changing, we saw it more as we needed to be on Facebook from a recruiting standpoint, because it really, to me, helped
Oh.
um, talk about the personality of the firm, and it helped reach out to those folks that we were trying to get into the firm as staff. Um, but Facebook, in that time, people are using it more and more, even just from a business standpoint. The association uses it, for example, to push our messages out because, again, that's a whole different space. And, different people listen to different things. I mean, even in the accounting firm, for example, or in the association, we have a discussion list on the website. A lot of people follow us that way. Other people follow, will read our emails. Some people, listen to watch our tweets, or, we have a whole LinkedIn group. We have a LinkedIn group um, that people may follow. So I think you have to be out there in different areas because people are going to find you differently and be listening differently.
I think this also ties back to what you were suggesting about niches, Lauren, in that if I just focus in on, we'll pick on vineyards for now, but if I
You're
just
really
focus on
focused on
serving
that wine
vineyards,
thing.
I know. Both Ron and I are ready to boost up a little bit. But if we focus on vineyards,
There's some good ones in Cleveland too.
They're not
yeah,
bad.
they're
Wow.
actually I know
They're not
there are
bad.
some.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not bad.
I know. Um, does that narrow down the variability? Because people do listen, if you will, in different ways. But if I'm focused on a niche, does that allow me to market more aggressively in fewer outlets? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think potentially it could. It's just like depending on the niche, maybe more traditional types of marketing works. I'm just trying to think of, how that could play out. But, um, you know, I mean, we used to advertise in Cleveland Jewish News because that was a place that, people wouldn't expect to find us, but, we could talk more about our wealth management in that particular publication, and we would periodically do an article with them. So, I think you need to understand you need to understand your audience and where to find them,
Yeah.
which why when you're narrowing your focus, then to your point, you can narrow your marketing because you have a better understanding of who you're targeting.
Right. It's almost like birds of a feather flock
Hmm.
together. So finding out where your particular niche might be having their conferences or what
Correct.
publications that they are
Correct.
reading and get some stuff into there. And LinkedIn groups and Facebook
Right.
groups. Got it.
All right, here's a big question for you. You revealed unexpectedly that you reveal the accounting trends at the end of every year. Um, we're approaching year end. I mean, I know it's still a ways out, but can you give us any insights, any research that your group has done on what's coming down the pike?
Maybe.
Maybe, perhaps. I'm putting you totally on the spot. I know that.
um, Well, I think one of the things you're going to continue to see is there's definitely a client service focus. There are people in the larger firms that are actually focused on client service. That's what they spend their time doing, making sure that that the client has a great experience with their firm, understanding what that client's needs are, feeding back into the firm what products that the firm needs to be developing. So I think you're going to see more and more, um, especially in the larger firms there. But smaller firms can learn from that
Mm.
too. Um, I think technology. We talked a lot about technology. Technology was one of the top things in 2017. But I think it's going to continue to be one of the top um, things in 2018. I mean, we found that the use of technology was huge. That over a third of marketing positions at firms were added that had to do with marketing technology um, related types of things. Um, Firms were acquiring more and more more technology and specific to marketing. There are marketing automation tools out there. There are relational
Mm.
databases that you can put in place to help you as you target, as you narrow your focus and your targeting. So I think that's something that's going to be happening. One of the things we talked about last year that I think is going to continue is that the career paths are going to evolve. One of the things that we find is that there are more and more um, titles within marketing. Now you've got graphic designers on board. You have these client service, you know, focused marketing folks. You're seeing, more and more business developers come on board to firms to help bring business in. So, I think those are some of the places. And because of that, you're going to see more training being focused there. So,
Yeah. I think of the old model where it was the senior accountant really was
Partner.
partner, that's the word,
Yeah.
was looking to, kind of like a law firm, looking to actually recruit the clients. They were the salesperson,
Right.
and they would dole the work out to the junior partners or the junior folks. And it sounds like what I'm hearing, Lauren, there's a transition now. It's no longer the whining and dining sales process. It's much more digitized, especially if you're hiring people specifically to do the marketing automation and things like that.
yeah, I think it is. I think it's evolving, and I think what I see some of the better firms doing are taking, where it used to be the partner owned the client,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
God help you if anybody else touched that client.
Right.
The more progressive firms are taking a team approach that, where they're less at risk if somebody leaves because they've got a team that calls on that client. Um, there's one of the small firms that I was talking to that's growing. They have a they're small, but they have a client service person assigned to each of their clients. That person is the center of the client's universe. If they need anything, they go to that
Mm.
client service person, and they address it with the firm. So there are a lot of different models out there, but yes, I think it's evolving.
So, do you think we'll see a marketing person at the seat at the table, like a chief marketing officer at the
You
partners
are
meeting
seeing
of
that. That's
we are
already
seeing that.
happening. That is
Mm.
already happening, and it's year over year. It keeps continues to grow, um, and it's slightly different. I mean, some of those. Well, I would say most of the ones that I know are in some way impacting the bottom line of the firm. So the one that I know of, for example, is really running an inside marketing agency inside of the firm that then they market to other um, accounting firms and sell accounting firms, and I think outside of accounting as well, sell their marketing capabilities to others,
Oh,
and
that's interesting.
provide that as a service. Um, another firm that I know, he's got an innovation lab going, and that it's part of the client experience with that firm where they can come in and problem solve with them. Um, Another firm that I am familiar with, who the gentleman has a seat at the table, it's all about client service and the clients and the experience. And he works very closely with the partners and the staff to develop, again, to develop the right products and the right experience for the client and make sure that they're not missing anything from a client standpoint. Because I think too, what you're going to see happening over time is that the firms are going to have to, as they evolve with this, becoming more consultative, the opportunities are actually greater because the more they embed themselves with a client, the more services they can sell. And if they're truly listening and supplying what the client needs, then they really are that trusted advisor that the client's going to come to and, bare their heart and soul to and trust implicitly.
A lot of our listeners are smaller firms, and we're talking about some strategies. Clearly, a small firm's not going to have a CMO.
Right.
What strategies, Lauren, do you have for the micro firms, the small firms? I love the LinkedIn tip. I mean, that's the place to go. Is there other strategies that small firms can use to get the word out on what they're doing?
Well, what they can do, maybe they can't, maybe they don't see the need for having a marketing person on staff, but there are a lot of consultants out there that can help them. And whether they hire them to be their marketing department for a full year, or if they just bring them on on an as needed basis, I think that can help them tremendously. Um, and it doesn't have to be a high cost to do it, but it can help open their eyes because if they're too inwardly focused, they're missing. They're potentially missing business out there.
Yeah, that's what I find too. Is we become kind of tunnel visioned. We have our approach to marketing, our way of doing things, but the outside expert can bring in something just radically different. One additional thing they can do from the outside is join AIM, right?
Oh
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
all firms of any size. So before we let you go, can you share some details how people listening could check out AIM and learn how perhaps to participate and join?
Yes, absolutely. So you can, if you go to our website, which is accountingmarketing.org, we have a number of different things that we provide. AIM has we have an individual membership, and we're just getting ready to announce an organizational membership. But currently, the membership is $350 with a $50 initiation fee. And if you were to join now, it's actually good through the end of the year and through 2018. So we provide webinars that talk about the various aspects of marketing and business development. We have an annual conference. We publish a quarterly publication called Growth Strategies. The current one is on, the value of research and various research tools that you can use. We also have a monthly e-newsletter that will hit your mailbox and have really valuable tips and interviews in it, and resources. And the thing that my members find the most valuable is that just networking with each other. Because
Yeah.
I have to tell you, my community is so giving and sharing within to each other of people. I talked about our discussion list. People will ask a question and say, "Hey, I'm trying to do this. Do you have?" Maybe it's they're trying to look for a specific vendor or they're trying to implement something and they need a recommendation, and a lot of that happens online. So we have a lot. We have a lot to offer.
No question about it. I was down at a conference now, maybe a year and a half ago. It was amazing. I had the privilege of speaking on the stage, but the networking that happened throughout the event was world class. I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids? It was workshop-y type of sharing information.
Well, and we often
Lauren,
talk about that conference. You get more out of those hallway conversations than even the conference, and we're really excited
well,
about.
one speaker is pretty good, but yeah,
Well, but
that was me.
but but I mean, but the upcoming conference we're really excited about because we'll be in Portland, Oregon in May of this year of
Wow.
2018. And we're looking to really change things up and do some things differently. So, you know,
Yeah.
whether you're a member or not, you can attend our conference. So
Oh, great.
come try us out.
Tremendous knowledge to be had. And our listeners, just when you reach out to AIM, that's AAM. But when you reach out to AIM, just tell them that Mike and Ron sent you. There's no reward for that, but just just tell them we sent you.
Tell them we said we'd give you a discount.
Yeah. Ask for
We'll
10%
waive your
off.
initiation
Watch them
fee
laugh
if you
at you.
do that.
There you
There
go.
you go.
There you go.
That's what we're talking about.
All right, Lauren. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. This has been really insightful stuff.
Yes, thank
Good.
you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, it's been a joy. All right. So, in a second, our dear listeners, we're going to recap what we learned from Lauren. We are going to share the insider access tip. And I got a GMAP Now task. First, I want to thank our corporate partners making the show a reality. Ron, I'll give you that responsibility if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nextiva, one of the best phone systems ever in the world. We use it all the time, probably every single day. Actually, every single day. Even set up our employees with it at home. Next would be Receipt Bank, the ultimate in productivity savings application. So it's how those customers come to you with all their receipts in a box at the end of the year. They're going to be coming sooner or later. They're probably coming on now. Use receipt banks. They'll save them a lot of time and you a lot of aggravation. Of course, Fundbox, the ultimate cash flow accelerators. It's not like factoring because they don't reach out to your customers. They work with you directly. If you need, you have some invoicing that's a little bit delayed, reach out to them. They'll give you a nice injection of cash.
All right, Ron. Thank you for doing that. Okay, we got a few things we got to cover here. I gotta mess with these buttons a little bit better. So first, I want to share our summary of what we learned, and then we want to do insider access, and then also the GMAP Now task. So Ron, I'll give you the honors. What did you learn from Lauren today?
Just because you were my father's or mother's accountant does not mean you will be mine. In essence,
Yeah.
You have to change. We're the marketing is changing. Niche specialization is coming to more of the forefront. The opportunity to be more consultative because of the rise in technology. I mean, yeah, and joining an organization or a group like AIM, really a great way to learn a lot of these marketing techniques.
Yeah. For me, it was the interesting statistics she threw out there. She said 30%. Businesses that are laser focused on their niche are 30% more successful.
I have that too, but I knew you were going to read it.
Oh, okay. I should have asked her what she meant by more successful. More revenue increase, or was this that they had a 30% greater closure rate? I suspect it's in across all things.
Yeah, you know what? I also still hear this that, I don't need to market. Oh, I don't like marketing. I mean, you got to do it.
Oh, my God.
You got to do it. Get out of your comfort zone and do it.
Yeah, a friend of mine once said, Mike, if you don't market, do you think your competitor will? I said, yeah. He says, are you providing a better service or is your competitor providing better service? I said, I am. He's like, then you have an obligation to market. And that really gave me the kick in the butt.
Nice.
If you really want to serve your clients, you have to market. The other take home for me was that Facebook advertising, use it for recruits. It's funny. The whole time she was talking about advertising, I'm thinking of selling to prospects. And then she kind of drops that bomb of, no, this is a great recruiting platform, and Facebook's ideal because of the social componentry.
Right, you can really show the internals of the organization, the culture.
Yeah.
Right. You don't get that on LinkedIn as much.
No, you don't. All right, let's talk. This is the show where we do the insider access. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about today?
So I wanted to talk about how we handle our brainstorming sessions. And just say, for an example, we need to brainstorm about our marketing activities.
Right.
And so we like to change things up a little bit and get a different perspective. So usually during these brainstorming sessions, a bunch of people are around the table. You have a director, an owner, a partner, and they're going around to the rank and file. Okay, give me your ideas. And there always seems to be an influence of some sort.
Sure.
Yeah, right? So what do? Well, Mike and I decided, you know what? Let's leave the room. If we want genuine feedback, genuine ideas from all of the people without us strategically influencing them based upon our previous discussions, then let's do it. And it's a wonderful thing. I mean, these guys, it's amazing when you leave the room, you come on back, and wow, all these ideas that we never would have even thought of, or probably just steered it in a different direction.
Yes, I agree fully.
So the insider tip is when you're doing your brainstorming sessions, lay the groundwork and then leave. Turn your backs. Let them brainstorm together without any ownership influencing.
And I think that's the key. You just said turn your backs. That's the most successful component, where we actually stayed in the room, but we aren't looking at the people brainstorming. So we're not yielding any influence or wielding influence, but we're taking notes, copious notes. Because it did two things when we did that. First of all, I got all these ideas that I would have poo-pooed if I was looking at them, saying, no, we can't afford that, can't do it. But those ideas triggered my own ideas that I started writing down. I was like, oh, we can do a spin on this and change on that.
Right.
Very powerful technique. And you can do this just with 2 or 3 other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Ron, that was a good one. There's one more good one. This is for you, Ron.
Come on.
Here it
Come
goes.
on.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, baby. Time to get Jack. I missed it last week.
I know. I was totally my bad.
It's gotta get it. Gotta get it. Lord's probably what the heck is going on?
This is the
Time to
GMAT
get
Now
crazy
test.
time.
Yeah, we do that to get you pumped up. Because listen, the opportunities in your business are huge. You just got to do them.
Gotta do it.
That's what I do. Okay. Here's the GMAP Now test. The one test, if you do it, you will see results in your business immediately. Update your LinkedIn. That's obvious and clear. You need to do it. But here's the thing you probably never done before. Put 3 testimonials in there. Not the endorsements that LinkedIn does, but actually in the description of why about your company.
Oh, yeah.
In there, say, let me share what 3 recent clients of ours have said. It is a new way of positioning it, and it's like Lauren was pointing out, it's the unexpected thing that catches people's attention.
Right.
Do it within LinkedIn.
Get your staff members to do it. Boom. Nice one, Mikey.
That's our atomic bomb. Ooh, that's how fuzzy it is.
Yeah, you're bored. You're killing us.
I'm blowing it out. No, I'm turning up the volume too loud on it. That's why I like doing that. All right, Ron, we got to get out of here.
Yes, and thank you, everybody, for attending today's episode. You can find us today, or actually any day, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. We would love to get your 4-star ratings, but your feedback is what's most important.
Yeah, and we'll take your feedback and your 5-star rating. Hey, ProfitCon just happened, and you know what? 28, it was the best one ever, no question.
Yeah.
2018 is already available for purchase. Now you missed being at the event, right? Did you? Shame on you. Got to sign up. And why didn't you come this year? You probably said, I found out too late. I wasn't prepared. It is not happening until September 2018. You have almost like 10 months in front of you more. Get your tickets now. They're at the lowest price they'll ever be at. Go to profitcon.us, get your ticket. And if you were there, well, geez, I hope you got your ticket while you're at the event.
Again.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. But one more thing, my friend. Why not become a Profit First professional, right? Right? Become a Profit First professional. Here's what you do. Go to ProfitFirstProfessionals with SDN.com, ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. Click on the Become button and just follow the instructions. Then we'll have an exploratory call, see if it's a fit. If it is, we'll bring profit to your clients, bring profit to you, and make the world a better place.
It's a wonderful way of life.
See you later.
See ya.